Hello, this is Nathaniel. I wanted to quickly cover some of the features of Windows Explorer, especially given our recent project of moving things over from our old W drive to the new. I thought it'd be helpful to recap some of the features that Windows gives you to manage your files. Now, unfortunately, what you see on screen here is the version of Windows Explorer that comes with Windows 8. That's what I have on my computer, while most of you have Windows 7. So there is a few things that will probably look somewhat or even significantly different, but the overall concepts are pretty much the same. So I wanted to cover it now with this, since this is what I have in front of me. You'll see right now I have on the left side, they call this the navigation pane. Um, on Windows 8 you have these nice buttons here, but there's also under the View menu um, in Windows 7 or even XP, you can toggle these things off and on. The navigation pane is on the left, and that's what a lot of people refer to as a tree structure. So you see these little chevrons or little arrows that are on the left of things like computer. As you click on those, they expand and contract, and they show you the items that are underneath them. So in my computer here, I have the shared W drive and the old W drive, which is the Z drive. So if I click on one of these, you'll see on the right then, this is the main pane for Windows Explorer. It'll show you the contents of whatever is highlighted in the navigation pane. If you don't have the navigation pane window, sometimes when you open up Windows, if you double click on My Documents or something like that. So you might be used to seeing something like this where there is no navigation pane. But in Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, and Windows 8, you can turn that on at any time under the View menu. You may not get this nice big icon like I'm clicking on here, but you can click navigation pane and it'll pop right up. It's just very useful when you're moving files from one location to another. So down here, I'm going to go ahead and expand the old W drive on the left so I can click on, we'll go with the security cameras folder here. This is where we used to save information that we needed to keep based on our security camera footage. So once I click here, it shows you the contents here. So let's say I wanted to move this folder, it's actually a zip file of when my bike was stolen, over to the new drive. What I can do, remember I still have that security cameras highlighted there, and you'll see it's on the right. So I can scroll up here and expand the share drive, the W drive. Notice I didn't click on shared itself, I clicked on the little arrow. That means that shared itself is not highlighted, and on the right here I'm still looking in the Z drive in the security cameras folder. So let's say I want to move this over to the file exchange folder. It's a matter of simply clicking and dragging it over to the navigation pane, and you can drop it right into File Exchange, or if there's a subfolder underneath that you want to drop it into, you can do that too, this parallel folder. So I'm going to put it right under File Exchange, and bing, it moved it right over. You'll see it now listed under the tree here. So that's one handy feature that you may or may not use frequently, but I think is very helpful. Another thing I wanted to show also under the View menu in Windows 7 is all the different view options you have for any folder that you're looking at in this main pane here. This is my personal favorite view. It's called Details. You'll see it's highlighted up here. Details is great because you can sort it by name or by date modified, which is sometimes extremely helpful. So then everything is sorted by the date it was last modified. Or by type, so if you know you're looking for a Word document or a publisher file, it's there. Or even by size, so if you know that it's a massive file or a tiny file, it's easier to find. So I think Details is in my opinion, the best place to operate most of the time. There are exceptions to that though. Some of these icon ones are handy if you're dealing with images. So let's see if we can find a folder in here that has some pictures. I think we do under organization-wide photos. So this isn't terribly descriptive. I mean, you get the names and stuff in Details, but if let's say you wanted to see what these photos actually look like, you can switch to medium icons or large icons or extra large icons. Um, and then you get a little preview of the files that are in each folder. And then as you scroll down, you'll see you'll get the actual photos too. So that's a nice way to manage different files of different types. Um, Tiles gives you a little bit of information plus an icon. I think that's new. I don't know if that's in Windows 7 or not. Content, same thing. I'm not entirely sure about that one. But list, details, and large and small icons are all options. List is kind of like the poor man's details, in my opinion. I would pretty much always choose details over list, but that's an option as well. So that's really handy. So this is all options under the View menu. Some of these other things are newer options that I'm not going to cover because none of you have Windows 8 at the moment. But that, in a nutshell, will show you most things. The other thing that you can do that I did want to show, though, is how to turn off and on hidden files. Sometimes you need to see a hidden file. I'm not going to actually come up with a reason why you'd want to see it now, but you'll see this file here, dsstore. That's actually a hidden file, but right now I'm seeing it. But let's say you don't want to be bothered by these weird system files that don't have any use to you. You can click Options and change folder search options. I think this is all done under the File menu in Windows 7. But then on the View tab, here's some options though to look at first. We'll go back to that. You can open each folder in the same window or open each folder in its own window. Sometimes that's useful to toggle back and forth. My preference is to leave it on open each folder in the same window. So when you double click on a folder, it opens it in that window as opposed to opening a new one. But that's your choice. I know Alan likes the other option, for instance, so it's a matter of personal preference. But then here on the View folder is where you can do a bunch of things. And up here is really cool. Once you figure some of these out the way you like them, you can apply it to all folders. And then all of the folders you open, no matter what, will follow that. So here's different options. Right now I am showing hidden files. I'm going to change that to don't show. And we'll see what that does after I click apply. You can restore previous folders. I think that's a Windows 7 feature. A lot of this stuff is pretty advanced. But let's say that you want to make all your folders default to the details pane that I started, the details view that I like so much. Once you've set that and you go into the folder options, you can apply that to all folders. And now whenever you open a new, you click yes, that I want to do it. And when you click a new one, it will open a new folder. It'll automatically show it in details view. I've also hidden files. So now when I click OK, and it didn't hide it. So isn't that weird? Okay, well normally it'll hide these hidden files. I guess it won't because it's a Mac file or something. I'm not sure. Refresh is also sometimes helpful if multiple people are working on the same file. You can either press F5 or click this button and it will refresh what's in that folder. So if someone said, oh, I just put it in there and you already have it open, it may not automatically show up there, but if you refresh it, it'll show up. That is Windows Explorer in a nutshell. I will try to do a better version of these later, but I wanted to get one of these out there since everyone is supposed to be managing all these files now. I hope you enjoy moving stuff around and weeding.